Hey, greetings everybody. Happy Friday. We are here for our Friday night flights. I'm your host, Lazerbolt. We are going to be taking off this evening from Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. This is quite a fancy city we got going on here. We're going to be visiting Christ the Redeemer, the big statue that's up there. We're going to be visiting Sugarloaf Mountain, and we're taking off from runway 20 today. So if anybody feels like joining us, please do. The information's right into the description of the video, and we're going to have a lot of fun today, so thanks for joining. Yeah, everybody, we're sitting down here on runway 20 left. First thing we're going to do is, after we take off, go a little bit to the left here and check out Sugarloaf Mountain, and then on to Christ the Redeemer.
Well, every time I load in and onto the airport, as soon as I do anything, it crashes.
Since you do anything, it crashes. Very weird. Yeah, I'm actually getting pretty decent frame rates here in Rio de Janeiro, even though it's quite a bulky city. It's not hitting my system too awful hard. And hey, Longhorn. I don't know why I said Leghorn. Longhorn, greetings. Happy Friday, my friend.
Happy Friday, greetings.
So, we're going to be taking off in about 3 minutes. Like I said, first we're going to check out Sugarloaf on the left, and then Christ the Redeemer. Then we're going to continue on down the coast. We're going to be taking off in about 2 minutes. Anybody have anything exciting happening this week?
I leave on vacation tomorrow.
You got what tomorrow? Oh, you're going on vacation. You said you were taking a little RV trip.
Yeah.
You never said where you're going.
Well, we're going to Needles because my sister lives in Needles, California. But we're doing that because it's only about an hour from Vegas, so we're gonna go up to Vegas too.
Oh, there you go. You got to do that. That's one place I have never been. I've never been to Vegas, and of course everyone wants to go to Vegas once.
Of course, that puts me at the wrong end of the runway again.
Yeah, I had to go all the way down here to 20. It put me way down there. I just figured if we take off at least this way from runway 20, we're pointing right where we're going.
It put me at the wrong end of the runway when I loaded in, and then when I hit fly now or whatever, it put me on the right side.
Really? This already is a pretty nice looking airport. Right here on the harbor with all the ships out there and stuff. Pretty nice.
Also, if it makes it feel better, Split Horse, when I loaded up my sim for the first time, it just didn't give me the like play button or whatever to go to the main menu. Just went back to desktop.
Well, this is like the fourth time loading in, and I've actually been able to take off from the runway. So I'm just gonna sit here in the air and wait for everybody.
That is bizarre.
idea.
I wonder if it's because it's such a dense city or something.
My frame rates are extremely high. It's buttery smooth, but I don't know, weird.
That is a shame. Well, guys, 30 seconds. Like I said, we're going to climb up, take a little bit of a left turn. It's pretty straight ahead, but we're going to check out Sugarloaf Mountain. It is 10 after the hour. Let's go ahead and get these birds up in the air right now, actually. If anybody needs more time, now's the time to let me know. All right. Lazerbolt is spooling up, and we're rolling. Oddly enough, right here in Michigan, we have a ski resort called Sugarloaf Mountain.
You guys go ahead and take off. I got my daughter on the phone. I'll catch up with you in a minute.
Oh, right on, buddy. Apparently this Sugarloaf Mountain here has a neat little resort on the top of it, and there is a, I don't know, like a tram or a lift of some kind that'll bring you up here. As we'll get to the top of it here and check it out real good, see what it looks like. Apparently gives you the best view of the entire city that you can have. So about a little Rio de Janeiro trivia for you. First of all, the name Rio de Janeiro simply means the January River, because it was discovered in January by some Portuguese explorers, and for some reason they thought that this big bay here, they thought it was a river instead of a bay, so they called it the January River, and that's Rio de Janeiro for you. They do have a neat little facility up here on top. I'm guessing a little nice restaurant type resort sort of thing where you can see the city really well. I'm going to do a bit of a circuit around the entire thing before we get back on track here and get to Christ the Redeemer. It does look like a fancy place up here. I was hoping they would have some kind of an animated gondola ride going to the top. So Rio de Janeiro is one of the only places in the entire world, one of the only cities in the entire world where graffiti is 100% legal. You can paint anything on anything. Well, yeah, I'm sure there are, rules governing, good taste and stuff like that. You probably can't paint some big pornographic picture. But apparently, that's a rule in Rio de Janeiro. That's why everything's all painted. I mean, everything, every street and every building is all painted up because graffiti is legal. As long as you have the permission of whoever owns the building, you can paint on it. And that's very unusual. Usually cities are anti that kind of stuff.
Keeps the corrosion down from the sea.
I suppose everything's got a nice coat of paint on it. Everything's certainly nice and colorful.
I got a good view down here on the beach since I stalled.
Yeah, apparently these are two of the biggest and best beaches in the world. Probably not good for stalling on, though.
Water's pretty though.
Huh, for some reason, I do not have the statue of Christ the Redeemer. I should. I was just here yesterday flying around, and it looked great. I flew around here just to take a picture for the thumbnail. I don't have it now. Huh, really weird. I got nothing.
I saw you fly right by it.
I see mine.
Yeah, I got nothing. I just got a little POI marker. That's weird. I know it's there. I saw it yesterday. This game, sometimes, it just screws with you. I'm going to do one more quick circuit around where it's supposed to be, and hopefully it'll pop in. Oh, there it is. It just popped up. Very bizarre. It took a long time to load that data, didn't it?
Those people around you sucking up all the bandwidth.
I'm not sure that's how it works.
What it is. I'm stuttering.
At least I'm getting nice and smooth frame rates up here and everything. That is a nice looking
know.
statue.
I'm not sure if
They say it's pretty darn
Discord
big.
or what causing the problems, because Discord took forever to load in. I had to try and do that like 3 times.
Just having
good,
trouble across the board, huh?
A good speech therapist if you need one. Split horse.
That's stuttering.
Well, alright. For many weeks now, we've been wondering, every time we got to a big city, is this Rio de Janeiro? Well, this is Rio de Janeiro, right here, the big one. And from what I understand, it's not even the capital of Brazil. I don't remember what is the capital. It used to be the capital, but it is not any longer. Nice looking city. And all this, there's a big woodsy area right around here. You'll see it's kind of right in the middle of the city. That is also not very many cities have that kind of a forested area right in the middle of it. A lot of them have a park and all that kind of stuff, but this is like wilderness forest going on here. It's quite a big chunk of land, and of course they got all kinds of stuff going on in there. But it's yeah, there's a forest right in the middle of the city, a big one. Well, alright, I am going to go ahead and get back on track here on the pink line, and we will continue our voyage down the coast of Brazil. And by the way, everybody, this will probably be our last Brazil flight. So after tonight's flight, next week, I think we're going to be heading back to the United States, checking out some of those cities that they just made nice and fancy. There's a few of them. I think there's 5 or 6 major cities that we could check out. We might start either in San Francisco. That'd be a nice place to check out. Or also we might start somewhere in Colorado to check out Denver. But either way, this will be our last night in Brazil. So say adios to all your little girlfriends in Brazil, because we won't be back next Friday. I'm going to be climbing up to 4,000 feet. Actually, I'm already over 4,000, aren't I? How about 6,000? Let's do that.
I was like hitting 5,000. I'm like, and I'm still below you.
Yeah. Yep, I wasn't even looking at how high that mountain was that we just had to go over. But yeah, let's call it 6,000 feet. We'll leave it there. I'm going to try to maintain around 150 knots indicated, maybe 160.
I got the tower pissed off at me because I had set 4,000, and they're very upset with me.
Now they're asking what you're doing, huh? There is so much traffic around here. If you look at the map, it's crazy. Real nice looking area though, I gotta say. This entire city looks beautiful. And it's a big one. really it spreads as far as the eye can see. Yeah, Bob, I was kind of messing around with the C-130 a couple days ago myself, just to see if it flies any better than it did a month ago. And I didn't have any troubles at all. I didn't try to do a cold and dark start, but I did do a perfect flight, even came in and did an instrument landing at an airport, and everything worked just perfectly. I didn't have an engine trouble at all. But you said you bought that new one, eh? The new, what is it, they call it the J version?
Yeah, I already had it. I bought it in 2020, but it wasn't. I still couldn't get the GTC to start, and it wasn't doing everything. So I thought I'd just give it a try for 14 or 15 bucks. I said, why not? You know. But I was impressed because now I can start the GTC, and you can hear it winding up.
Oh, perfect.
Where before you couldn't.
The light works and everything.
The light works. Everything fires up real nice, and the engines sound more true to life than they do in the older one.
Very nice. Yeah, I'm real happy about the engine sounds too, because that C-130, that should have the most distinctive sound you ever heard. And yeah, I was a little disappointed with the weak sound that it had in the other version of it,
Yeah,
the H version.
it's a lot louder. If you do decide to get this one for 15 bucks, whatever, you'd be happy with it. I mean, it sounds better, it's louder, and everything works like it should.
Right, as long as everything works like it should, that's a good one right there. Yeah, I will have to be picking that up here sometime soon.
I figured I'd fly a new plane tonight that I haven't flown before, and I could swear it said the cruise speed was close to 200 knots, or maybe even higher. This barely gets to 160 knots.
Really? They seem to do that all the time. They overestimate how fast the airplane actually goes.
Oh,
I
wait,
mean, maybe
I
if
just made
that's
a
if that's
mistake,
like
but
if you're way up at altitude with the air nice and thin and you've got the needle buried, maybe you can come close to that speed, but it's usually pretty short.
I just did a dummy. The throttle wasn't all the way forward for some reason, but
Whoops.
the yellow line is at 180 knots, so I mean, I think it is still a little bit lower than advertised, but that's alright.
And you should be able to keep up though, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, Longhorn, I still see you way back there. Did you get your ass off the ground?
Yeah, I had to restart everything. I'm still having issues.
Doggone it, everybody's
It's
having
related.
issues tonight.
It's related to the NVIDIA driver, because I did back up the NVIDIA driver to like 2 versions ago, and at least I can start Flight Simulator now, which I couldn't before. But I only got like 5 minutes into the flight, and my headset display locked up, even though when I moved it around on my monitor screen, it looked like everything was working fine. So I backed out of the headset and tried to reboot the headset, but as soon as I disconnect power to the headset, it kills Flight Simulator.
Very strange.
Yep.
Yeah, NVIDIA's not making a lot of people happy right now.
If you ask me, they're just releasing too many video cards. I mean, do we really need like an entire new series of video cards every 6 months?
It's been longer than that, but
I know, I'm exaggerating, but still, it's at least once a year.
they're kind of put all their attention towards the AI. If you look at their stock holdings, their how much money that they put in their AI, they've like basically doubled it every year or whatever for the last 3 or 4 years, and it was matching the consumer side, the graphics cards and stuff, and now it's like, I don't know, 7 or more times the amount. So they're clearly focusing on what returns they're getting on from that.
Right. I don't know if that's worse or the Bitcoin mining farms were worse, because that was a big thing not long ago.
Yeah. Yeah, those are mostly gone away, as far as I know.
Good
Don't
riddance.
really hear anything about them.
I see you caught right up to me, Travis.
Yeah. Looking good.
Well, my video card was working pretty darn good in 2D mode, but the problem is I don't have a mic, so I wasn't. That's why I couldn't hear anybody, because I switched into 2D mode. Couldn't hear anybody. Couldn't say anything.
Oh, you got it fixed now.
Well, I'm back in VR, so, and right now it's doing fine. But I fully expect at some point during the flight it's going to start acting up on me again, because it has like every night for the last several weeks, ever since these drivers came out. And I don't know if it's related to the headset. The headset's pretty new. It's only a month old. I just don't think it plays nicely with 5080. But when I was in 2D mode, I was getting about 130 frames per second at 4K, so I like the card.
The 5080 is pretty new. Maybe they just need to iron it out a little bit.
I think if I'm still having problems when I come back, well, other than the fact that I've deleted, what the heck is that, mixed reality from my computer, so I doubt if I'll be able to find it anymore to get it back on my computer. I could just go back to my Reverb G2.
Right. Yeah, I would have definitely kept a copy of that if you had it around. You won't be able to find it online.
Well, and that's the problem. You don't get a copy of it. You get the downloader, which I have the downloader, but then the downloader now, the link is broken. It doesn't go anywhere.
Oh, okay.
Or at least that was the issue I was running into when I was on Windows 11, is when they finally broke it in Windows 11. I was like, okay, I can't get mixed reality anymore, so that's why I went back to Windows 10, and it's been working ever since. But when I started hearing everybody saying it's bricking their headsets now on Windows 10, it's like, yeah, well, I want to get another headset before that happens, so that's why I got the Pimax Crystal Light, and it was working great with my 3080 Ti. It's just a little bit slow, and so well, let's get the 5080, and it worked good for like the first couple flights I took, and then it's been nothing but hell since.
That's not fun.
If you want the mixed reality back, have you looked into Windows PowerShell commands?
No.
Maybe there's one for that. I can look one up and see if you want me to.
Yeah, if you don't mind.
I'm still interested in what's going on with Coast's machine. He said he did a Windows 11 update. It screwed everything up for him. Screwed it up bad.
Oh wow.
Yeah, his machine won't even
Can't
post.
get into
It
the
won't.
BIOS. That is not a Windows thing.
Yeah, he can't even get it to turn on. He can't get to the BIOS or nothing.
Yeah, that's a computer issue. That's a hardware issue.
I told him he should at least be able to reinstall Windows 11 and start from scratch. You know, it'd be like a factory reinstall then.
Yeah, but if you
I
can't
don't
get into
think
the BIOS.
yeah. The BIOS is everything. If you can't get into the BIOS, you can't tell it to load from a thumb drive. So.
Yeah. Yeah, he says he can't do any of that. But I am curious to see if he does, because he might have been trying to use. He does have a backup disk on his thumb drive, he said, and it wouldn't load that. But I'm not sure if he tried loading it directly from the motherboard. I know that if you have a reinstall disk, you have to put that thumb drive right into your motherboard. You have to do it in the back. I'm not sure if he did that or not. Maybe that would help it post up. I don't know, but it's not good. It's a pretty frustrating issue.
Yeah, depending on what kind of motherboard it is, it might have a backup BIOS that you access from the back.
I doubt it.
Or something.
I doubt it. It's a pre-made computer. But we miss him tonight.
Yeah, it's already starting to glitch on me. I just left Rio de Janeiro. Actually, I'm still over like the edge of town.
It's huge town. It stretches forever.
Yeah, what
Yeah,
happened,
I'd be tempted to just fly without VR. I mean, at that
Well,
point, there's been so many problems with it.
Well, like I said though, I don't have a mic, so I wouldn't be able to say anything. And I mean, I could put you on my speakers, but then my wife would get pissed off because I'd have.
Right
be
now,
hearing
are you
everybody's conversation.
using the mic and headphones basically that come with the VR headset? You're using the built-in mic?
Yeah.
Well, it sounds pretty good. I got to say that don't sound bad at all.
Yeah, I need to try playing some other VR games to at least narrow it down, whether it's the headset or because if it happens in other stuff too. But I know the driver definitely was an issue because when they just had I think it was Thursday last week, they had a new driver that was supposed to fix black screen issues for the 5000 series. So I put that in there. Well, then Flight Simulator refused to boot at all with that in there. And that's why I missed the thing a couple weeks ago. Because when it boots up, it says Xbox Game Studios, and then it says Asobo Studios, and then it has all the little markers for all the different companies and stuff, and then it does the cinematics. Well, it never made it past the Xbox Game Studios. It just went to there, and then after that, it just went to a black screen, and then nothing happened at all. But
yeah,
as soon
I
as
think that Xbox Game Studios plays. That's where it does all the updates, and then it actually moves on to the game itself. Anyway, real quickly, guys, we are approaching Angra dos Reis. That will be our first stop for the evening. Not exactly sure how far away we are. My GPS is not following the line properly, but we are approaching it rather quickly. We're going to be landing on runway 28, which is almost directly straight in. So count on runway 28. We've got 3,100 foot of bituminous runway. It's right on the coast, so you don't need to worry about an elevation. So just count on runway 28 when we get to Sierra Dog Alpha Golf. Swing to the right here just a little
Mine
bit.
says
line
9
up.
miles, I think.
9 miles, all right. Yeah, my GPS never switched over to the pink line. My
Mine
GPS,
didn't either. I ended up
it
putting
thinks
it
I'm
in
still
manually.
right. I'm probably gonna do that once I land. It thinks I'm still back at Rio de Janeiro.
Well,
It's
mine
like
was
my-
Might
screwed
have
up too.
had to do with the GPS went off in a different direction, and then made a loop and came back and then branched off.
Yeah,
And
that was
So I'm not on the GPS either. It's way back.
right.
wants
It
me to
does
go way
the.
back to
It adds all the
airport.
procedures when I'm just trying to do a direct point-to-point flight, and it ends
what
up
I
adding
just
all
did.
these procedures to it every time.
That's the only thing on this that is working for me, because I follow the loop.
Pretty sure I see the runway. I'm gonna go ahead and make for it.
Oh, this is weird because I changed the clouds to few clouds, but I just went through must just one big cloud because like I lost all visibility.
Yeah, when it says few clouds, there's still quite a few clouds.
That's
what I
mean,
usually do
quite a
is
few clouds.
I'll take that bottom layer and just raise it right up to about 6,000 feet and get it out of the way.
Doesn't differ too much because the first time I booted into this, I was in live weather and it wasn't that many more clouds than what I got now.
I sent you a DM on a possible fix there for you, Longhorn.
Okay. Can't see it right now until I take my headset off, but I appreciate it. I'll look at it.
No worries. Hope it helps.
I'm back.
Welcome back, buddy.
Yeah, I've been getting all my stuff together. I got with the computer all the information and pieces. So I'll try them out tomorrow. See if I can try it out.
Yeah, like I said, you should be able to at least reinstall Windows if you've got that boot stick. Just make sure you put it directly into your motherboard from the back. Don't use the front panel headers or nothing like that. Alrighty, I'm about a half mile from runway, what did we say it was, 28? It's not a huge ass runway, but it's plenty big enough for us. Just make sure you mind your speed coming in.
Well, my gear only cost me about 4 knots.
That's not a very good way to slow down.
No,
Unless you're on the
no,
ground.
I forgot to retract them.
Oh, I see.
I broke my landing gear last week, Longhorn. I pulled one of your
It did it too fast.
Well, I've turned all that off on these flights now. It's like, you know what, I've done that 2 weeks in a row now. I'm not going to do that again. So otherwise, I probably would have broke them here because I was cruising along at 179 knots with my gear down.
It's a nice looking place here.
Takes all the grass off, though.
Lazerbolt is clear to the left. Let's back taxi the beginning of 28. The weather been warming up there for you, Coast? We still got like 50 degrees around here.
Same sort of thing.
It's supposed to get like 60 or 70 in a week or two, so I'm looking forward to that.
It's supposed to be 101 when I get into Needles on Sunday.
Oh no.
Wow.
That's 70s down here in Tennessee. You've got 90s next week.
Nice.
Yeah,
we're like 88 today, but I think Monday here is only supposed to be 58 and rain. Like, sure, I leave and it's gonna cool off and get rain.
It's going to be nice.
Definitely hit summer here in Florida. It's definitely in the 80s to 90s.
It feels like summer, huh?
Yep. She's back.
It still feels like spring around here.
I can hear Travis's airplane from clear down here. That big flying box is loud.
What plane are you flying, Travis?
It's like a Cessna 400 something. I don't
Oh,
remember
okay.
what it
Yeah,
was.
408 Sky Courier.
So it probably matched you pretty good. You looked like you were in a pretty large plane. It was a twin prop.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it's putting them in a Bonanza. Just a little single engine Cessna, or not a Cessna, but a
Yeah, it looks like a
Beechcraft.
flying box. It's big.
Sort of is.
All right, are we missing anybody? It looks like everybody, right?
Think so.
We're missing Longhorn.
Travis
Where's
was the
Longhorn?
last one.
I'm 7 minutes out, so I'll just do a touch and go. So,
Travis, this is a dust-free zone.
I noticed that too. It's definitely dusting.
Don't get behind him. He'll throw rocks in your windshield.
It's a dust storm.
Oh, look at that.
It's either a can of gasoline or dust. One of the two.
Uh,
That was hilarious.
All right, let's get back out on this runway here and prepare to take off. Same thing, I think 6,000 feet should do just fine. Alrighty, everybody, don't end up in the water at the end of the runway, but we are spooling up and rolling. Boy, it doesn't take much to get these birds in the air, does it? This
Certainly
runway
doesn't.
looks a lot like a boat ramp. It looks like you
Great.
could just pull your boat up right to the end of it.
It's an extended boat ramp.
Well, these are some of the best looking coasts we've seen so far in this whole trip to Brazil. This is beautiful around here.
Split horse. I did a test sprint making a Benchy with some clear pet G and didn't have any problems with it. She's the
Well-
default.
What kind of temperatures does that use? Not just the bed, but the filament.
I think it was high. I have to look to
Like
be honest.
260 or something like that.
Yeah. I think the bed was around 70.
Yeah, I usually do around 70 on the bed. At about 250, that doesn't seem too awful high.
I think my temperature maxes out at 270.
So what's the advantage of Pet G? Is it a little sturdier? Not as brittle?
It's a little better for outside. Doesn't absorb water, I don't think, as much.
It feels different. It feels more waxy than, you know, PLA feels dry and you know.
Yeah.
But Pet G it's like it's thicker and you can kind of dig your fingernails into it. it's just
Right.
a different.
Yeah, PLA
plastic.
will straight up disintegrate. It'll just, if you leave it outside, it won't be there next spring. It'll just be gone. It'll just go away. Well, it's made out of cornstarch, so it's pretty biodegradable, you know.
So yeah, my default settings for Pet G is 255 for the nozzle temperature, and the bed temperature is 70.
It looks like 6,000 is going to be just enough to get over this hillside here. Of course, it sets me to go directly over the tallest peak, but 6,000 feet's fine. See, we just missed Split Horse. There he is.
Yeah, I can't get the autopilot to work worth nothing. I can't even get it to follow the nav bug.
Boy, everybody's just having problems today.
I mean, the altitude it's going up to the 6,000, but
You can't even do a
I
heading
have to-
hold?
no. Well, yes,
Oh, that's
I can
unusual. Yeah, a heading
point in
hold
that
should be easy.
direction and hit autopilot, and it'll go in that direction. But I can't change the. If I move the heading bug, it just goes where it's still pointed.
Weird. Yeah, very strange.
I had to do a direct to a while ago. It's following it now, but at the last airport, I had to do a direct to on the nav panel and type in the airport code and then select nav, and it finally locked onto it.
Very bizarre. Usually the everything to do with this aircraft usually works pretty smooth. I am looking up ahead and seeing that there are some hills up there and some mountains. We're heading into a pretty mountainous region. We might need to go a little higher than 6,000. We'll figure it out when we get there.
Yeah, I'm gonna skim these trees. I don't. It's climbing slowly. I don't want to mess with anything right now. There is a way to get it to jump to the next waypoint. I can't remember how to do that.
Oh, right in the GPS itself? Yeah. Well, you could just go into the list and you could move what the next active leg is, and then just hit enter and it's good to go. I'm seriously considering, like I said, this will be our last flight in Brazil. I'm considering next week going back to using the C-130 for a week, just because I love it so much. I flew it a couple times this last week and everything worked just perfect on it, so I don't know, considering making another C-130 flight. What would you guys think of a C-130 flight in a thunderstorm? That would be exciting, huh? Set up 3 different airports that all have ILS landing facilities, and then just fly in the middle of a lightning storm, and we'll have to do ILS landings on all 3 landings. You guys be into something like that?
I think
I'm
you're
down
open
for
over
whatever.
here. I'd want to try it in the Dirty Bird.
All right.
Oh boy, that thing there is. I still haven't figured that one out.
Oh, they had it. Did you get the latest update today?
I got the email. I haven't gone in there to download it yet, but I did get an email from them. There's an update.
Yeah, I'll
It's
be
gonna take
interested
a
to
little
see
bit
how
get used to
often
that one.
they update will be interesting. because you know they seem like a pretty reputable company. They probably update it often now that it's out. Or at least it's in the alpha version. Just to be safe, I'm going to bring it up to 7,000. I believe our next marker that we're heading towards is a point of interest. It looks like it is the National Shrine of Our Lady Aparecida, or something like that. Big statue, I'm guessing. So if anybody's interested, last week on Sunday night I did post my annual Star Wars Day video. So I worked really hard on it. If you guys get a chance to check it out, please do and let me know what you think.
Yeah, that was really good. I enjoyed that one.
Well, thank you. I put a lot of work into it, that's for sure. It's
I
one of
really
those things
loved
where
it,
it's
too.
like...
I'm going to have to go watch it again.
You should. Well, it's one of those things that it's one of my favorite videos to make all year. I absolutely love it. I'm a big Star Wars fan, and it's a lot of fun to make that video. But I put a lot of time and effort into it, and they never get very many views. It's really a complete waste of time. Nobody ever watches them. But I enjoy doing them. But that's the reason why I only do one a year, because they just don't get any views. Nobody looks at it.
I see you pop up on my YouTube feed every now and then. I always watch what you post.
Good. I appreciate it, man. I've got hundreds of videos. I probably do have occasionally a video popping up once in a while. I don't feel like anybody ever watches them, but I do have hundreds of videos. I am approaching my 4,000 watch hours, though, and these Friday night flights has been helping that tremendously. Yeah, I see we have a guest popping in. Page Turners They Were Not. Brennan, hello there, my friend. How are you? And happy Friday. It's good to see you here. So Travis, you said that airplane you're flying around is a big old box. How does it fly?
Like a big old box.
Like a big old
It
box,
flies
huh?
pretty good.
It doesn't have too strict landing restrictions or nothing like that, huh? You can get in the same airports we can get into.
Yeah, that's fine. It seems like it has around the same takeoff distance and probably landing distance.
Right on. We are approaching the shrine of Our Lady of Aparecida. The POI marker just popped in, so yeah, when we get there, let's do a left-hand circuit, check it out really good. I don't know if it's a building or a statue, but we're going to be there shortly. Yeah, I've just been thinking lately that it would be a lot of fun to do a flight in a thunderstorm. Just set it for stormy weather, have thunder and lightning and all kinds of nasty weather, and we'll have to rely on our instrument landing systems to get us to the airport. I'm not
Yeah, the
sure if
last
we're going to do
time
that next
we
week.
did that was a Halloween.
Yeah, we did that on Halloween, and that was always fun. When we flew from, where was that? Somewhere in Switzerland, we flew to Dracula's castle in Romania.
I think I finally got it to follow the GPS.
I'm still just doing a heading bug. I never did advance my flight plan to where we're at. One thing this sim is really good at is it lets you start a flight in the middle of a flight plan. And that used to be a big issue. You used to never be able to do that. But on this one, you could just start anywhere you want and then just load your flight plan in, and if it's not even the starting airport, it doesn't matter. And that's handy. So Longhorn, what is going on in that place that you said you're going to go visit next week? You said the name of it a couple times. What goes on there?
Nothing.
There's
Farming.
nothing. Well, it's a
just
good place to go.
desert town on the Colorado River.
Good place to go camping if there's nothing going on. Oh, it's right on the Colorado. Good deal.
Yeah, it's close to Lake Havasu, and like I said, it's about an hour from Vegas. And the only reason we're going there is because my sister lives there, and she manages an apartment complex. So it gives me a chance to go visit with my sister for the week.
That's
and then,
nice.
Like I said, when we lived in Arizona, we used to go to Vegas every year for either our anniversary or my wife's birthday in February. And they have a Hello Kitty cafe that she wants to go there, and and an outlet mall that she wants to go to. So we're gonna go to all that, which we were supposed to do in February, but since we got sick, we pushed it off to May.
There you go. Go check it out. Yeah, well, we're going to miss you next week. Hopefully you're having a good time.
Yeah, maybe I'll check in on my phone.
There you go. We're always here.
Because we're taking off from there. We're leaving there Saturday morning to come back home.
If you
So
miss
we
us
get-
bad enough,
get-
if you miss us that bad, you could always watch the stream. It'll be like you're here.
Yeah, I'd have to watch on my phone, though. I'm not going to take my computer. I don't know what kind of area that the campground's in. So I don't really want to leave my computer behind, plus it being hot and stuff, so.
Right. You going to be gone a week?
Yeah, we're taking off tomorrow and leaving there the following Saturday, and then we'll get home like late Saturday night, probably about midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning.
Nice. I am very much looking forward to getting some camping in this summer. Won't be any time real soon. I can't afford it, but as soon as I can afford it, I'd like to take a little trip. Well, it looks like this Our Lady of whatever it is kind of looks like a big old building.
Okay, you want to know what it is? Lady of Aparecida?
Yes.
In 1717, they had fishermen were a real problem in that area. So they threw their nets in the water and they pulled off the body of a statue with no head. And it was a Virgin Mary sort of statue. They threw the net in again, and they came back with the head, and they stuck it together to perfectly fit. And they threw their nets in again, and they just filled up their nets with all sorts of fish forever. It's one of those miracle things.
Oh. Okay, well that's interesting. Cool. Thanks for looking that up. Or you just knew that off the top of your head, didn't you?
No, of course not. Hey, look, I got the time. I ain't got a plane in the air, so I got that. I can read.
You got the
now.
time.
Oh yeah, it's a Roman Catholic saint.
Well, very interesting.
Well, I got the time. I might as well just act as sort of like the in-house, librarian or whatever.
Yeah, the tour guide. You're the fact checker.
The tour guide's more like it.
Well, we're getting awful close. We're about 5 miles out. Like I said, it looks like a big building of some kind. it might be a big, maybe an outdoor.
There's a cathedral there.
Oh, of course.
Are we landing there?
We are not landing there. There's no runway.
You can't land in
That's
cathedrals.
never stopped us before.
You're right about that. You are right. Now we're going to do at least one left-hand circuit around here and check it out real good and see what it's all about. I see it's got some kind of a bell tower. That's nice.
Yeah, I'm probably going to get booted out again because my tracking just like took me out of my tracking zone now. So now I can't see anything.
Oh, that's
And I
the
have a feeling
first sign
if I
that
try
it's
to
getting ready to shut down. Huh?
Well, no, I have a feeling if I try to reset my tracking, every time I do that, it seems to kill Flight Simulator. And unfortunately, that I think is my headset because they just supposedly, well, they did update the driver for the headset that you can't go back on. It's basically downloaded from their Pimax
So,
Play software.
A
So I
firmware
can't
kind of thing.
backdate it and go, yeah, the firmware on it. So I can't go back on that one because this all started with that.
This is an entire complex here, and it's really nice looking. Big old parking lot and everything.
Yeah, holy moly.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
That's big.
Let me reset my view, but at least I'm back in my centered again. But I'm 200 feet below my airplane.
The right side almost looks like the little area where the Vatican's at.
This front part actually looks pretty modern. This is quite a place. Look at that.
Got a parking lot in there too.
Yeah,
I threw a picture into the Google Flight Info.
that is exactly what it looks like. Yeah, very nice. Yeah, I like that. It doesn't look like the clock works.
Oh yeah, that's a huge clock tower.
Yeah, it looks like it's stuck at like 1 o'clock.
Maybe it's time to fix it.
Oh boy.
It's a good rendering they got over that thing. It's pretty good.
Well, Our Lady of Presidia looks pretty nice, I gotta say. I dug that. Let's get back on track here, and we're going to be doing our penultimate stop for the evening. We got an airport coming up. I'll get us the details here. We might as well climb back up to about 6,000 feet.
I have a little bit of mild news. I got my AMS thing in and just haven't had time to use it yet. The AMS came in on like Tuesday or something like that early
You'll
in
have
the
to
week.
refresh
and,
my memory. Travis, what is the AMS? What's that referring to?
for the 3D printer little
Oh, okay.
color thing.
Right.
And well, I needed an adapter for my printer, and it didn't come in until today. So I'm in the middle of a kind of long 3D print right now, so it's just gonna stay partially disconnected until tomorrow.
Oh, good deal though, but you got it. So very cool. Is that the thing
Yeah.
that allows you to use multiple colors, or that was something else?
Yep, it does that, and this one also will dry all the filament for you too.
Oh, very
So
cool.
it's got a
It's
heater in
called
there.
the AMS, the automatic color change. Jeez. What else
But-
would AMS stand for?
I don't think it stands for that.
American Meteorological Society.
Well, that's it.
So, gentlemen, our next stop is the penultimate stop for the evening. It is going to be Sierra Bravo Sierra Juliet. It is Sao Jose dos Campos. We will be landing on runway 34. When we approach the airport, it's going to be a bit of a T-bone to the runway, so we're going to have to swing out to the right a little bit. But we're going to be landing runway 34. It is at an elevation of over 2,000 feet, so bear that in mind. It's not right on the coast. But we do have 2,600 meters of asphalt, which is plenty for what we need. So count on runway 34 when we get there, and we're going to take a 10-minute break. We still got a little bit to go. And when I said we're going to take a right-hand turn, we're actually going to take a left-hand turn to get lined up at runway 34.
Okay, your other right hand, I got you.
The other right hand. Yeah, bear in mind that we are over 2,000 feet elevation around here, so our 6,000 feet is really only 4,000 above the ground. Keep that in mind as we're landing. Yeah, it's hard to believe it's already Friday, really. This week went by quick. Not that I did much, but I had a lot of stuff I need to do, you know what I mean? I took care of business, but man, it was a quick week.
I agree. I did some spring cleaning and stuff, I guess you could say. Trying to get things all back organized and everything.
Worst part about these months and days and weeks going by so quick is, gee, it's always time for bills.
Nobody likes that guy.
Yeah, just tell them to take you off your mailing list.
Yeah, I'm not interested.
Well, I finally got my autopilot to work. You're still on heading and laser?
Yeah, I'm still using the heading bug. It's mostly because I haven't advanced my flight plan. Oh, I forgot. We have a planetarium to check out later on. After we leave this airport we're getting ready to land at right now, there's a planetarium to check out. I love those.
For them to be able to see anything, it really requires a lot of space.
My.
Oh my god.
Travis, keep on trying, buddy. Don't stop.
Travis, was it you that was said to you were flying the D30, the Dirty 30?
No, I'm not.
I think
Although
that was
I did
Longhorn.
just maybe.
Oh, it was Longhorn?
I haven't flown it yet, but I bought it and downloaded the first version and never installed it, and then the new version came out today, so won't be putting that in. No, I wanted to get in when the price is the cheapest.
I think in the email it says they're going to be going up to $29.99. I think the next bump up.
Yeah, I think it's next week, from what I read.
Yeah, I really need to get that. That is my dream aircraft, if it's all it's cracked up to be. And it's an alpha version right now, so I'm sure it's got a million different problems. But by the time it's in full release, I bet you that's going to be quite a beast. I want that bad.
I'm just not up to speed on all the I think they call it the FMS, flight management system or whatever, but
It's quite
that's going to take
computerized.
me a while.
Yeah, it's got a pretty decent flight computer in there.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with all that because I've never done much in the airline flight sims.
I'm hoping I can fly it just fine without knowing all about that. I mean, I will pick it up as we go, but I want to just fly without having to take a crash course in advanced airplane
they have
computer systems,
Yeah. Well, they have a manual that downloads with it, but I mean, you got to be pretty tech savvy to even understand what they're saying.
It's pretty technical already, huh?
Oh yeah.
I remember when Captain Sim first released their C-130 package back in the FSX days, and their manual for it was basically the manual from like the Marines or whatever, the Lockheed company itself. It was their manual, and it was like, holy moly, this is some technical stuff.
Yes, I looked it up, and it's the 12th that it goes up $5. It's not too terrible of an increase.
No, I imagine it's going to be pretty steep though when it's in full release. It'll probably be at least $100.
I don't think they're going to go that far if they're doing an
Don't think so?
alpha at 25, but
I mean, it is Milviz. Milviz has some pretty
Yeah.
expensive aircraft.
I could see $50. The thing is, if they do too high of a price like that, I don't think the Hercules is as sought after mostly because it's not an airliner. Like
Well, plus it's old. It's an old military aircraft. Only certain people are interested. It's an old military aircraft that doesn't even shoot stuff normally.
So if they ask for too high of a price, they're really going to deter, I think, a lot more potential customers.
Right on. We are getting close to Sao Jose dos Campos. So I am going to swing here a little bit out to the left to get a straight-in shot. Reminder, we're going to take a 10-minute break once we get here, so grab a fresh coffee or use the restroom or get a snack and a drink, and we'll be back in the air shortly. But we are, like I said, I'm a little unsure exactly how far we are from Dos Campos, but I bet you're within 10 miles. We're close.
I grew up in San Jose.
You said 7?
San Jose.
Yeah, I was showing 6.5 now. Split Horse said you grew up in San Jose.
Yeah, California.
Yeah, it's a little ways away from here.
It's sad. It's been a while since I've been back there, but the last time I went back there, I didn't recognize the place. I didn't even recognize my neighborhood because, for one, all the little trees along the road back when I was a kid were, 3, maybe 4 inches wide at the stump. You go back there now, it's like 15 inches round. So all the trees are massive. The houses have all changed, added on, and new roofs, all that stuff. I didn't recognize it.
Just a reminder, it is runway 28 that we're coming in. Actually, it might not be 28. Let me double check that. Looks like it's more in the 3s.
I thought you said 3-4.
I did say 3-4. You have a good memory. We are landing runway 34.
Three miles.
Looks like you're going to fly right over it, Wingnut. Oh, you changed. You turned. Never mind. Reminder, we're at a over 2,000 foot of elevation around here. It doesn't look like it, but we're in the mountains.
Not in Kansas anymore. Well, Laser, I try to slow down to get behind you, but still way out in front. So I guess we'll just go
No,
on
you're
in.
good. No, you're good, man. I'm kind of glad you're ahead of me. That way I can tell where the runway is.
I see
Sure,
the
assuming
airport right
Travis
there.
knows where it is.
Right, I'm always
See
flying
an
behind Rob.
airport. I don't know if it's the right airport, but I see a airport.
I really should turn on my airport markers, but I just don't. That's the one thing I don't turn on. I kind of like having to find them. Sometimes it's not easy. But then on the other hand, sometimes I'm 2 miles away and I still can't find it. So it's not always good. What I should do is I should put it on a toggle switch so I can turn it on and off at whim. Usually, like something like this isn't, it's not too hard to spot. That's like right there, man.
Isn't there a button that you can map that'll make your eyes snap over to it, even if it's turned off?
I don't know about
Maybe.
that. That sounds like a Grand Theft Auto thing.
It's like a POI type thing, I thought.
You know what? There might be.
2020.
There's so many
Yes,
options. I don't know, but there might be.
I think the S key was in 2020. I don't know if it's in 2021.
Yeah, that was for the smart camera.
500.
It'll just point you to whatever your next waypoint is.
That toaster looks fine on landing right there, Travis.
Thanks, that was pretty smooth. Watch out for that butter I left on the runway there.
Hey, I have animals here. Wonderful. First time I've
Yeah.
seen animals in a while. Some kind of water buffalo or a wildebeest or some kind of crazy thing.
Yeah, I see them too.
Yeah, big old herd of them. Oh, that is unusual that we both have the same thing. That's cool. Usually it's a personal thing. It's, you know, it's randomized whether you have it or not. But yeah, some kind of
Unheard of.
cattle. Big herd of them.
I'm surprised Travis hasn't says he hasn't heard of him yet.
I heard that coming. Well, I
Yep,
scared
whole
him
bunch
off
of big
into the
ones and
trees.
one little one. I was beginning to wonder if I had animals in here. It's been a while since I've seen them.
Well, I'm one of the animals. Oh, you mean this one? Oh, sorry.
So was Eric Burton.
Oh, what?
So was Eric Burton.
But now you're
Eric
going
Burton,
way, way back to the band, The Animals. Am I correct?
Yep.
That is holy moly. I haven't heard that name in decades.
What do you listen to? Taylor Swift?
No. I listen to stuff that's decades newer than the Birds or the Animals, and it's still 1980s. All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break here. Let's say we are back up in the air. Oh, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes, we'll say. And give you enough time to grab a drink and a snack and use the restroom, and we'll be back in the air to do this final leg. We're going to check out an observatory. Looking forward to the
I
observatory.
see.
I'm going to observe it.
It's going to be under observation, I am assuming.
You guys are really zooming in on this one.
You know, everybody's in rare form tonight.
Hey, back in a few
Like
minutes.
I have an audience.
Yeah, I was going to say, we got Longhorn coming in here. Not that everybody's watching, but everybody's watching.
Yeah, well, my headset's like freaking out, so I'm pretty much might as well just close my eyes when I'm landing because I
You blame the
can't
headset.
see shit.
Don't worry, we're not watching.
No, you want to fly like Travis then, huh?
Well, that looked pretty good.
That was smooth as silk, right on the money, man. I don't know what you're complaining about. That was right on.
Well, the worst thing is when it throws me 200 feet below my airplane just before I land, because then it puts my vision underneath the ground, and I actually can see everything above me.
Just
See
make
all
sure
the
you're
trees that
running
are growing
really
out of the ground.
fast by the time it lands.
Yep, there I am, back under the ground again. So I've got like this grid. Oh, popped me back in my airplane. Now I'm like, it's a tracking issue with my headset, and I swear it's that driver that they freaking did the firmware update.
Did they have any way to like test it outside of the simulator, or?
Well, yeah, I can try. This is the only VR thing that I've tried with it. So I'm gonna try some other VR stuff and see if it freaks out on that stuff too.
Yeah. Alright,
Oh,
that
that's-
can be.
Oh, that's weird. Now your plane to me, Travis, is a jumbo jet. You didn't change it, right? You're still in the Cessna 404.
No, I didn't change.
Huh. Because when the first time I came in, you were in the right plane to me, but now you're like in an Airbus or something.
Yeah. They got a little bit of work to do on this thing still yet, but
And you have no nose gear. You got your main gear down though.
Yeah,
Your
this is a
front gear.
fixed gear. So, well, actually, can't remember if the nose wheel goes up or not, but I think it's fixed gear.
Looks like the front of your plane is your Airbus is just hovering.
Yeah, yeah, it looks like it's all fixed. Anyway, I'll be back.
Our next destination is the Carmel Planetarium. That should be fun. We'll do a little circuit around that before we make it to our last airport of the evening. I have a whole bunch of helicopters at this airport. Strange. Well, I'm going to go ahead and move this bird back onto the runway here, and we'll get ready to take off in about 2 minutes or so. I'm a little curious, Bob, whether, like, if you're flying in that new Dirty 30, if I will see you as a Hercules just because I have the other Hercules, or it probably won't even put the two and two together. It'll probably just give me a weird model matching instead.
Yeah, you'll see him as an Airbus.
Yeah, probably so. Unless you have it also, you'll probably see me something different.
Yeah, I was impressed though that like with the C-130H and the C-130J, those are reverse compatible, if you want to call it that. Like, I think I've seen you flying around the J version before, and it was a version that I didn't even have the paint job for. But at least it showed you as a C-130. I was pretty impressed that it put that together, you know. Usually it's just like, if there's anything in the name of the aircraft that you don't have, it'll just give you the wildest, crazy substitution. It won't even be close. So, alright guys, let's count on 30 seconds. We're up and out of here. We're going to be visiting the observatory. This looks like a decent sized city here too. They got some big buildings over there. I have a feeling there might be a couple pilots still getting a snack or something.
No, I'm ready. I'll just wait for everybody to go by and pop
Right
out
on.
on the runway.
Usually it's just a big clusterfuck getting the hell out of here. Everybody just hop on the runway and go. Alright guys, let's get these birds back up in the air. I think 6,000 feet should do it unless something comes up like a mountain. But 6,000 feet should get us to that observatory and it'll be great observing it. Rolling.
Can already see it coming.
Do have a couple points of interest directly up ahead. We're going to be going right by him actually.
Is it time for another observatory joke?
There's always time for another joke.
Just kidding. Got an interesting little green strip here underneath of us. Looks like it's for power lines.
Oh,
Yeah,
I see.
maybe so. Probably so. Yeah.
Pretty big city, that's for sure. I wouldn't be completely surprised if one of these POI markers isn't the observatory itself. We're heading directly at them. They're popping up over there. It's a pretty big area. I've also been considering one of an upcoming group flights to do it again in that Optica. We did that, we flew the Optica around the Falkland Islands and it was great. I really enjoyed that aircraft a lot. But maybe we could do something like, since it's such a slow aircraft, we're not going to cover much ground, but it might be suitable to like take it to a huge city, someplace big like Tokyo or even San Francisco or something like that. And maybe
Well, you'll
Dallas.
have to do one with a DC-3 when Coast gets his computer fixed. He's been dying to fly a DC-3.
Yeah, no kidding. That would be kind of somewhat similar too. I mean, I think the DC-3 gets around 100 and close to 100 knots, I guess. I forget, maybe 130. So that also would be another one to where we're not going to be covering too awful much ground too quickly, but we can check out one place really nicely. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of like start at the outskirts of a city and just check out every point of interest in the entire place.
Yeah, for some reason 130 knots sticks in my head.
Yeah, I think that's the neighborhood. And yeah, you're right. Coast does really like that aircraft, and there's a good reason. That's a nice airplane.
Yeah,
I
it's a
haven't
good plane.
flown it in the new
I
sim.
like it.
Sorry, Bob?
No, it's a good plane. I enjoy flying it too. I do it once in a while.
Hmm. It's just one of those good old-fashioned airplanes. It looks like an airplane. It flies like an airplane. It's a very basic beast. You know,
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah. If you learn the how to set it up, what altitude limitations are, and its props and everything else, you can get it up to about 150 knots.
Yeah, it's very nice. It has been a while since we've flown that in a group flight. We used to do it occasionally, but it's been a little bit. I think the last time we did it is when they released it a couple years ago.
Especially if you use the autopilot.
It does
You
have
can
an
really
autopilot, doesn't it? I forget about that.
Yeah, yeah, it's got an autopilot.
It's always handy.
Yeah, it
I like
depends
that.
on which
Even-
one you choose.
even if
you
all
can
it
get one
does-
with fast panel or one without.
Even if all it does is just keep you flying straight and level, that's all I need. Just keep me flying straight, because I'm always like looking in a weird camera angle or talking, and next thing I know, I'm pointing in the wrong direction. I got to at least have something to keep me going straight. That's the only thing I have against that, the Goose, when we fly that. I love that Goose. It's a wonderful airplane. Love it. But there is no autopilot whatsoever. Not even a heading hold, not even an altitude hold, nothing. It's real difficult
That's why
to
you
say.
need.
Yeah, to say
That's
I'm
why you
going to
need
go
to
to
get that
5,000
altitude.
feet. I'm going to go to 5,000, and we're heading a 273. Next thing you know, you're at 10,000, heading at 130. I took my eyes off the screen.
With the DC-3, you got to be a little careful because it's a tail dragger.
Yes, it gets squirrely when you're taking off and landing. And also, I seem to remember that you got to be careful with stalling. If you turn too sharp, it'll just fall right out of the sky. I don't like that.
Yeah, I did that a few times. Now I don't.
Well, I'm used to flying the old one from the FSX days. Once again, it was a little more forgiving than an actual aircraft. A little more arcadey, and just so I got used to flying that. And it doesn't handle the same, not at all. I'm sure the new one
Nope.
is quite a bit more realistic.
You plan ahead with that one.
Yeah, you got to plan ahead, that is for sure. Same thing comes when you're trying to slow down. You better start slowing down about 5 miles early, because it takes a long time. That thing just wants to keep going, man.
It's a paper airplane.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those, too, that it's almost hard to land because it wants to fly so badly. You know what I mean? It just wants to stay in the air. So you're trying to bring it down, and it doesn't. You got to fight it to bring it down, because it just wants to keep flying.
It'd be a challenge, but it's fun.
It is fun. I think you're right about that. We need to do that one of these days soon.
I'm gonna have to wait till I get my computer working though, which may not be right away, guys.
I've been thinking about doing a series of flights too. I really enjoyed those flights that Storm had back in the day, where basically he did every week was a different state, and every week was a different airplane. So it was quite an involved flight. But for 50 weeks in a row, we flew to a different state and flew around and checked out a couple things, and we had to switch different aircrafts every week just to, because some states are small, some states are big. And, we basically went from airport to airport in each one. It was a good old time, but I've been thinking about something like that, where I would really like to do a 50 states, go to each state, fly around, check out some cool cities, do some landings, maybe even look up a little trivia or just some information about the state to have something interesting to talk about. And that could make for an interesting series, too. There's something cool in every single state, right?
Some just have corn, but
Corn's cool.
They don't even have the cob, just corn.
No, they somehow grow them without the cobs.
That's the kind that comes in the metal can there.
Yeah, you just pick the can right off the stalk there.
You bet.
Don't forget your can opener.
You know what, guys? When we get up to all these POIs, our observatory is the farthest on the left. So let's check that out and then turn to the right and check out the other three. As long as we're here, we might as well see what they are, right?
Indeed.
Maybe there are other observatories observing other observatories.
Who observes the observatories? I just had another one pop in way in the distance.
It's very observational.
I changed it to clear skies. There's too many clouds. I didn't want to miss it.
There you go. Like I said, it's pretty easy to change that bottom cloud layer. You can do it right on the fly, right in-game as you're flying. Just move that slider up a little bit. Like I said, I always put it on few clouds, just so we have some clouds going on and it looks nice. And then I take that bottom layer and I push it up to about 5,000 feet, so it's never in the way.
Well, this is a big city we're flying over.
This is. Once again, I'm kind of wondering what it is. I have no idea what this city is. It is the Carmo Planetarium, so maybe it is the city of Carmo. Not a whole lot of like skyscrapers and stuff around here that I can see. Most of the buildings are just a couple stories tall, maybe a few hotels here and there. But it is a big place. Look at this.
Does your airplane not have retractable landing gear, Travis?
It does not. It's a fixed gear.
Okay.
Do you have that airplane, Bob? You can see it correctly?
Yeah, I see it correctly. Yeah, I have it.
You got a lot of extra aircraft, my friend. All kinds of good stuff. There's never a lack of airplanes to pick from, though, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. You missing the Albatross? That's the big brother for the Goose, man. That thing, and it does have autopilot, and it's got a nice kitchen sink and just a kitchen in the back.
It even has a kitchen sink. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, that so far that is the only reason why I wish I had the big fancy deluxe version. That is it. That's that there's one aircraft that I feel like I'm missing out on, and that's a pretty nice aircraft. I always like that. We flew a version of it in FSX, and it was wonderful.
Yeah, flies great.
All right, we have the Carmo Planetarium right next to the Neo Kumika Arena. This observatory doesn't look like much. It's pretty flat around here, isn't it? I don't even see a radar dish or anything, or a dome or nothing, but let's check it out.
Kind of surprised that it's in the middle of a city, more or less.
Right, with all the lights and everything?
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, we are at a decent
works.
elevation. We're about 2,000 feet of elevation, so it's up there, but this doesn't look like the ideal space for a planetarium. Or an observatory, I should say. Well, it's a planetarium. Maybe it's not an actual observatory, it's just more like a, they project the stars on the ceiling and it looks really cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to keep the planetarium on my right and do a little circuit here, and then we'll visit the arena and a couple of these other POIs that are off in the distance.
Some big warehouse buildings or something around here. Stores.
Yeah, this definitely looks like a industrial area. Or maybe it's, you know, more like hotels and malls. This definitely looks like a big group of hotels over there, or condos or something.
I feel like I've died bombing something.
There's a bit of a dome here at the planetarium. They do have
Looks
a building.
pretty cool. Looks nice.
Yeah, it does look pretty nice. It's not huge or anything, but it looks pretty nice. Looks like
Kind of,
that.
Black dome looking thing.
Yeah, it's a dark colored
Yeah,
dome.
that's the kind of thing where you go in, they project the stars, all that.
Yeah,
good
exactly.
stuff.
It kind of looks like the, I don't know, the Football Hall of Fame. Looks like a big orange juicer.
Kind of like how it's tucked in the woods a little bit, kind of spaced out from everything.
Uh-huh. Maybe that protects them from the light a little bit, but like we were saying, it's probably just it's not an actual observatory, it's a planetarium, like it says. Anyway, look at this here arena is freaking huge. It's way bigger than the planetarium. Look, it's also open. It's got a big sky ceiling there. It's a very modern looking arena here. Got the Jumbotrons on the inside. Oh yeah, I bet they pack them in around here. Big old parking lot right off the freeway.
Looks like they got a train that comes in here too.
Oh yeah, they do. Alright, looks like there's a couple points of interest still right in this city here. So this is a massive, massive city. What's like the second biggest city in Brazil? I'm sure Rio's the biggest, right? But what's the next biggest? That's probably what this is.
Yeah. It seems like it's never ending.
It's huge. Maybe this is, what do they call it? Sao Paulo? Yeah, and I love it how here we are going through a very dense city. Very dense city. There are just buildings everywhere. There's traffic. And it's smooth as silk for me. Absolutely smooth as could be. I love it.
Remember the days that if somebody had an aircraft that was really complicated, that as soon as they got into your view screen, everything went to hell?
Yeah, the C-130 used to do that. Remember the problem we used to have with the C-130? Well, this is bringing me back. Remember way back in the day, every time somebody flew a C-130 anywhere near you, it would trash your system and just bring your frames down. And then we realized that it had something to do with the radios. Remember that? You had to make sure you had your radios turned off, because if you had your radios turned on, it would broadcast some kind of a weird thing that would just bog everything down.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always something. It's always something that you wouldn't expect it to be. It's like, how is my radio killing my system? But that's what it was. This is like the big downtown part of the area here. Look at all the big buildings. Oh, we got the Museo de Ipiranga. Yeah, some kind of museum. You know, this
You
city
mentioned
almost
all the
looks...
helicopters. Did you see all the helicopter landing pads in this area?
I didn't notice them, but usually a city like this has them
Yeah.
all over.
They're everywhere.
I bet you if I had that turned on, they'd be pointing them out. Well, let's check out this Museo do Ipiranga, and then head to the one that's just beyond it. That POI marker that's way off in the distance to the right, let's not bother with that. That looks like it's still about 15-20 miles away. It's way out of town and heading the wrong direction. I am going to do a quick left-hand circuit around the museum here. Check it out as good as possible. Looks like it's a nice area, real nice wooded area going on. And then we'll get back on course. Oh, I see, this is a whole complex. This looks like one of these, like a palace that has the big garden in front and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Very nice. It does. It reminds me of someplace over in Europe where they always have these big fancy, just a massive garden in front.
You have too much money and don't know what to do with it.
Well, this is a decent use for it, I guess. We got money burning a hole in their pocket. Give the people a museum.
Well, I can't take it with you.
If you could take it with you, it'd burn up anyway. Thanks, Travis. It took you a second.
It took me a second.
Did Travis just get that one?
I mean, I suppose it would, you could take it with you at that point, but...
It burns a hole in your pocket.
And
I need
everything
some cream
else.
for that one.
Yeah, very cool. This is a impressive city, very much.
I wonder what their traffic is like on the roads.
It's got to be a lot. I mean,
Maybe that's
this
why
is a
there's so
huge
many
ass place.
helicopter pads.
There's an endless amount of buildings.
And just look how far back it goes. We've been on this city for, we've been flying over this city for 10 minutes. We're going fast. You know, we're finally getting to like the city proper. This is like the actual new big ass, you know, the city. Hey, we got the something to something of technology something over here. I'm gonna check that out real quick as long as we're flying past it. It looks like a big technology center in the middle of the woods.
Seems counterproductive.
Wooden technology.
I thought it sounded a little innovative myself.
You would.
The Technologica de L. Must be like the name was too big to fit into the space provided.
So
Doesn't look like much, but it's a nice area.
it says planetaria, so probably another planetarium.
This one? Okay, yeah, Planetario Park di Solene, blah blah blah. Technologia, yada yada. Okay, that's
Got a
cool.
little bit of everything.
No, whatever it is, I approve. I'm going to allow this. They do have a dome
Yeah.
here, so that might be where they do all their let's watch some stars kind of situation. Alright, yeah, I'm just going to do a quick little circuit around here to check it out good. And we're not going to be back this way. We might as well look at it. It's just another one of them places to where it looks like if you're on the ground, it'd be just beautiful around here.
You know, I think Brazil gets stereotyped with, you know, all the movies showing Rio de Janeiro and how lawless it is.
Well, there is some truth to some of that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Carnival is supposed to be a hell of a thing, though. How about that? Big parade, carnival, citywide, you know, great big festival. It's supposed to get pretty crazy around Carnival.
I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft converts some of these houses to more generic houses.
Yeah, they're more like autofill.
Yeah. I'd be interested to look and see for myself.
But on the other hand, they did just have the big Brazil update, so maybe they, you know, kind of went over it. I don't know if this is one of the bespoke cities that they actually worked on, but it's probably better than just generic. Alrighty, getting back on track here, getting on that pink line, and we're heading to our final destination of the evening. Let's do that at 6,000 feet. Looks like that other point of interest is the Palacio dos Bandeirantes. I bet it's a palace.
Sao Paulo is Brazil's vibrant financial center, among the world's most populous cities.
Is this Sao Paulo?
I'm pretty sure it is.
I mean, I was just guessing. That's the only other city I can think of in Brazil. There's Rio de Janeiro, and then there's Sao Paulo.
Tracks on the map about right. Where would be?
It sure is big enough, that's for sure. I'm sure this is bigger than Rio de Janeiro was. Rio de Janeiro was pretty big, but this, man, it's as far as I can see.
Yeah, I see that arena that we passed a little while back on here, so yeah.
Well, groovy.
Yeah, they got some pretty normal, like, kind of looks like the houses that we're seeing, so looks pretty decent. Definitely got a lot of buildings and houses all crammed on top of each other, though.
Oh, I bet you the streets down there are pretty crowded.
I mean, this looks like as far as density, almost like Los Angeles.
Yeah,
Hey,
this-
they got
this is nuts.
Google Street View. You can look at what the streets look like. Well, this random spot I went to is well, just at least not the prettiest. Some issues here and there. But what do you expect? It's Brazil.
Well, gentlemen, our final airport of the evening is Sierra Delta Bravo November at Fazenda Bonanza Airport. We're going to be coming in on runway 1. Count on runway 1 when we get there. It's 890 feet, or 890 meters, I should say. I'm not sure how many feet that is, but it's big enough for us to get in and out of there. Also, 2,300 feet of elevation, so it's up there. It looks like we're heading directly towards a point of interest, which hopefully we'll fly over before we get to the runway. But when we get to Sierra Delta Bravo in November, count on runway 1. And that point of interest isn't actually directly ahead of us. It's going to be off to our right a little bit, so we're probably not going to see it.
I was surprised when I clicked on the autopilot. It brought me all the way back to the line.
Oh, did it?
It did.
Yeah, excellent. I just happened to have my heading hold pointing in the right direction, and it did the same for me. But it was just pure luck. Yeah, the city is finally thinning out a little bit. It's a big one.
It's funny, you could definitely tell that these highways were put in after the buildings because there's not a straight stretch of highway anywhere.
No, and it's all going right around something. So the city has that great big river going through the middle of it too, which that's pretty highly trafficked. So GTA 6 not coming out until 26.
Yeah,
Still
what a
ready
bummer.
for it.
That's alright.
I feel the same way. That's all right. Get it right. People are going to complain no matter how good it is. So go ahead, work on it as long as you want to. People are still going to complain. Act like it's unplayable garbage, even though it's probably going to be a masterpiece.
Yeah, knowing Rockstar, they're definitely gonna leave some bugs in there, but that's alright. It's expected.
I did watch the trailer that came out. All I can say is, wow.
It's pretty sharp,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah. I say it looks pretty good.
Is definitely a generation step up.
Yeah, and just the things that I've seen Rockstar pull off in the past, I've got high hopes for this one. And I don't generally have high hopes about stuff. I try to keep it pretty modest. But this looks pretty good. I'm going to be into this for sure. Almost for sure what they're going to do is what they normally do, is they release it on the console first. I haven't heard specifically that that's what they're doing, but I'd be amazed if they didn't. They always release it on the console first, and then about a year later they release it on PC. And that's a good way to do it if you ask me, because releasing something on a console is way easier than releasing it on a PC. All consoles are the same. You know what I mean? So if they get it running relatively smooth on the console, they can release it and everybody can enjoy it and it's no big deal. PCs, every single person's PC out there is different. Every single damn one of them. And it's really hard to make a piece of software work fine on everything. You know what I mean? So they're going to release it on the console first. I will guarantee that. And it'll be about a year before we can get it on PC.
I hope not, and the reasoning why it could possibly be different, or I definitely hope it's different, is that during COVID, but the console market, I don't know if it went down, but it probably did. I don't have any verification on that right now.
It's more like
but,
the PC market
The PC
exploded.
market went crazy, yeah.
Yeah. I've always assumed it was for similar reasons, like I said, though. That, like I said, it's much easier to release it on the console and then perfect it for the PC version. You know, just get as many of the bugs out of it as you can. And then they can spend an entire year trying to make it work on everybody's PC from A to Z, you know. But who knows?
I hope
It's
they have,
been a long time since they've released the last one, but that's how they've done every single one so far.
I hope they release it with multiplayer off the bat.
I would also wouldn't be surprised if you might have to wait a month or so. You know what I mean? That seems to be also.
Yeah.
Even Red Dead Redemption, when they first, or Red Dead 2, when they first released that, it took them, I don't know, 6 months before they put the single player or the multiplayer aspect into it. And once they did,
Yeah,
it was
I think
great.
it was-
You know, it worked really good.
I think they said it was about a year for the last GTA as well.
Anyway, it's going to be amazing. Looking forward to it.
Gonna have to keep your eyes peeled for that Florida man.
Oh, there's going to be lots of them in there, isn't it?
They're all Florida men. Run. You're surrounded.
Just a reminder, when we get to Sierra Delta Bravo in November, we will be landing runway 1. So at some point in the next 10 miles or so, we're going to swing out to the right. Or we're going to swing out to the left. I got my left and right screwed up today. I'm going to swing to the left here.
So is it true they're taking away the gas cans and
No, they're not. You shut it.
I wish they
What
were.
about some player abusing the right to use them? I guess I don't know.
I was just trying to make you feel good.
Trying to make me feel nice and crispy.
I'm trying to warm you up. Warm up that heart.
Longhorn? Did we lose you too, or?
No, I just took off from the last airport again.
Okay, still having some issues.
Yeah. I put a picture in there of what I see when I try to land when it puts me underneath my airplane.
Oh, I see that. It looks like you got some kind of weird grid pattern going on. It looks like you're in a
Oh,
building.
that's the Earth, actually.
Oh, you're
above me.
underground.
Yep.
Well, don't do that.
So it's funny because when you're down there, you can see the cars driving along up there, people walking around up there. Well, it makes it real tough to land when you're just about to land and it throws you onto the ground.
But you can see your cockpit at the same time? Or what's that? Oh, that's
Kinda,
fine.
yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be digging that. Like I said,
Have
that's the
you-
kind of stuff that would make me just not fly VR. Or at least not in a
Have
group
you-
flight, you know.
Have you attempted to reinstall the simulator?
Yeah, I did it a couple weeks ago when I was first having problems, and I'm about to do it again.
Yeah, that probably won't solve anything, but I guess it doesn't hurt trying. Yeah, how bizarre.
It seems to be related to the tracking, because if I cover up the cameras on the front of my VR, then it stops acting weird and it smooths out again.
Does your VR
But
have
the weird
tracking stations? Or just
No.
infrared?
Little cameras.
Oh, right on.
Same as my HP did. My Reverb G2 used the same type of system, but it never had an issue with tracking.
Yeah, same thing. And my
Are you
Quest 3
flying in
never
the
has an
dark,
issue at all.
or is
No,
Is-
it's
is your
I've got
room
I've got a ceiling fan like right in the middle of the room, and I've got a light bulb in it, and then it's still daylight here too. So
Yeah.
I got my curtains pulled a little bit. Looks like a little bit of light coming in from that, but no, it's plenty light enough in here.
Well, that's the thing too. I mean, my Quest 3, it uses infrared, so I can play in the dark. I mean, I don't have a single light turned on, and my headset still works. It might complain that the area is not bright enough, but it doesn't seem to matter. It can still, it senses everything. Like I said, it's basically night vision. You know?
Yeah, I just tried turning off the tracking. They call it recliner mode, so it doesn't track my movements. And but it makes it weird because now when I turn my head, it doesn't. It turns my head, but if I try to like move my face forward to look at the dash, it pushes the plane away from me. When I try to look down, the plane goes down because it's not tracking that I'm moving.
It's like the axes are all screwed up. It's doing weird camera stuff.
Yeah, and it's still doing that same weird thing, because what happens if I'll turn my head left, then my entire airplane will shift to the right slowly, and then over like the next second or two, then the vision will come back to the direction I'm actually looking. And so it like really screws with my head.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that.
So,
That's
Laser,
like-
is your Quest 3 better than the original?
I never had the Quest original. My first one was a Quest 2, and I loved it, and it worked great, and everything I ever tried to use it with. And then, I don't know, maybe just over a year ago, whenever the Quest 3 came out, I bought the Quest 3. And yeah, so I've used the 2 and the 3, and the 3 is a significant improvement. Mostly just for the external cameras on there. It's got, you could do a lot more augmented reality kind of stuff. It's got a nice color external camera so you can see your environment. And it just works great all the time. You know, I know that there's technically better spec'd systems that you can get, and I think that's what everybody looks at. Everybody's like, well, look at this, you know, instead of spending $300 for this crappy Quest 3, I can spend $900 or $1,500 and get this really fancy one, and then they don't work, you know? Or I know a lot of people that bought, like Robert Dunn. Robert Dunn, it still bugs me to this day that he spent like $1,200 and bought this fancy-ass fucking VR headset and never even plugged it in, never even tried it, you know? It's like, geez, you know? Just, you know, I don't know. Save your money and get the Quest 3 because it works all the time flawlessly. You know, is there better specs that you can get out there? Sure. But if they don't work, what's the difference? You know, I would recommend a Quest 3 to anybody, anytime. And people think, oh, you're just cheaping out. The Quest 3 is the cheap one. Well, it is. It is the cheap one, but it's still an absolutely magical piece of hardware that works all the time. It always works. I never had a problem with it.
I'm not sure who's still in charge of that division, but it used to be John Carmack. I don't know if anybody knows who that is.
Yeah, that was the guy from like Half-Life and all that stuff, right?
From Doom. He's
Oh,
the
from
one
Doom,
who
yeah, that guy.
programmed Doom original, Doom and Doom 2.
Yeah. By the way, real
Id
quick, guys,
Software.
we are getting very close to this airport. I wasn't paying attention, and we are very close. We're within probably 5 miles. So be prepared. I'm going to swing out to the left here. We're going to land runway 1. Yeah, I mean, are you talking about who started the Quest 3? Because if that's what you're talking
I
about,
don't know if it was that. I don't even know if he still works for them or not.
I don't think he does. I think whoever started the Quest 3 sold it to Bezos, sold it to Facebook, basically. Facebook owns it now.
Yeah, no, he worked for Facebook on the original whatever Meta whatever.
Yeah, the Oculus, or what did they call the original one? Yeah. But yeah, I think Carmack was one of them that designed the whole system. Anyway, I'm not sure if he's still part of the company or not, but it's a
Well, I'm sure
Facebook
they're still
thing.
using whatever he helped develop. But he also had started a company way back when called Armadillo Aerospace. And he and his team actually did one of the first vertical takeoff and landing rockets way before SpaceX.
Elon.
Yeah, way before Elon. And there's videos, if you Google Armadillo Aerospace, all one word. They were based out of Texas, and I think they called it the Hopper. And they basically flew up to a certain altitude, transitioned way over, and came back down and landed on a different pad. So I mean, he was pretty good, and
One of the
they
innovators.
documented everything. It's an awesome thing to go look up and watch their videos.
Yeah, I've seen a couple
But they-
interviews
they-
with him, with that Carmack
Close
guy, and
down
he's a
years
smart
ago.
guy. He's a real smart guy. I've seen a couple interviews regarding like game theory, just game programming, and yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Well, their first one was something like Castle Wolfenstein or something like that.
I just realized I'm
And-
over the runway, so I'm going to have to do a little teardrop shape here and get back to it. I didn't realize I was that close. I see y'all are landing.
Yeah, I was following you, and I'm looking down, going, "Yeah, that's the runway."
Man, nobody told me. It's like, bro, you're like 2,000 feet too high. I was still looking for the airport like it was about 5 miles away, but no, it was directly under me.
I'm on the ground.
Yeah, it looks like a nice little place, though, huh?
It's definitely a little place. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the shortest runway we had all night, but since it was in meters, I'm not sure exactly how many feet that is. It's big enough for us.
Times 3.
Wow,
This is
I'm glad I
our
got the
last
graph, Travis.
landing. Our last landing here in Brazil, so enjoy it. Next week, we're going to be moving back to the States.
I will try to bring back some extra Brazil nuts.
Split horse, I'm going to swing in right behind you.
Okie dokie.
Yeah, and I know MetaQuest and MetaQuest 3 and all that. That's the evil empire, whatever. It's the cheapest headset, not by a little, but by miles. It's the cheapest VR headset by absolute miles and miles, and it works the best by miles and miles. So I don't see what the issue is. You know, I've even heard people say this, like, oh, I'm not going to get one of them stupid Quest 3s because it's wireless, and then it only has like an hour and a half battery life, and after an hour and a half you have to plug it in, and then you got a cord. And I'm thinking, well, what's the alternative? To buy a headset that always has a cord? What?
Yeah.
How is that better? How is that even an argument? And that's their legit argument. I'm just going to buy one that's always plugged in, because after an hour and a half I'm going to have to plug it in anyway. It's like, oh
can
my
just keep
God,
it
what kind
plugged
of
in.
dumb reasoning is that?
You can
And
just
I'll
keep
be
it plugged
completely
in and
honest with
the-
you. I'll be completely honest. After an hour and a half of VR, I'm ready for a break anyway. I'm done.
The great part about being wireless is if you have, you know, people over, kids over, or whatever, you don't have to worry about them getting tangled up in wires.
Yeah, and wires go bad. Wires go bad all the time. Just because people step on them and crink them and
Run 'em
just
over.
everything. Wires go bad. And like I said, I've never been using my headset and it ran out of power. Like I said, it lasts about an hour and a half, and then I plug it back in. So I can't go 2 hours playing VR and not start feeling weird. You know what I mean? It's like after a while, about an hour and a half is enough. I'm done. That's good enough for me. I'm done. You know.
So are you wired up to your PC for this?
No, I do it wirelessly through my PC too. As long as your PC is hooked up to the same router as your headset, it's just like having a wire.
I have the Quest 2. Pretty sure it's a 2. You had yours before I had mine, so I'm pretty sure I had the latest when I got it.
Yeah, I bought the Quest 2 when it first came out.
I haven't opened that up in like a year.
Yeah, I haven't
Never
used my
did
Quest 2 since I got
get it
my
to
Quest
work.
3. I should just sell it. You know, and but the Quest 3 is amazing. It's great.
I'm wondering if my my Quest 2 would actually work anymore. Didn't they cancel anybody's account if you hadn't used it in a while?
No, not that I know of. And certainly, if you had to start a new account, it would still work. They didn't brick it. They may have stopped supporting it, but they didn't just brick it. It's fine. And one of the things I was happy with is all the games that I bought on the Quest 2, they transferred right over to my Quest 3. I didn't even have to do anything. As soon as I turned on my Quest 3 and I logged in, boom, all my games are there.
I see it's 300 bucks. For a 128 gigabyte one, that is. I guess that's called the 3S. What's the difference between the 3 and the 3S? They look a little different.
One does your laundry for you.
No, I think the 3S is just like a 3, but it's just a cheaper version of it. A little more, like sometimes they make a light version of a console that's pretty much the same thing, but a little bit different. And this is the same thing. I think the big difference is it's the lenses on the inside. I think there's the two different kinds of lenses. There's something like a frenetic lens and a pancake lens. The actual Quest 3 uses the fancy expensive ones, and this one uses the less expensive pancake lens or something like that. I don't know. But it's enough of a difference that they can give it to you for a cheaper price.
For my other one.
Sorry?
I have corrective lenses for my other one.
Oh, right on. Well, those aren't cheap either, are they?
Yeah, I just remembered. I'm like, wow, I got those lenses, and I don't know if I bought another one, if I'd have to do the same thing or not. I have really bad eyes.
Yeah, what happened to everybody? Everybody's aircraft disappeared.
Yeah, I got out and went on Amazon. Checked
I
out.
also bounced out. And yeah, thank you for the group play. It was awesome.
That was my pleasure, buddy. We'll have to do this again Friday.
I put a picture down below with Travis's flying toaster and him throwing dirt in my face.
The dirty toaster.
Looks pretty dusty.
Yeah, you turned and cranked up the juice as you was turning around at me.
Yeah. That's really cool, the new features in here. Like, they're just little, features that just make a big difference.
Okay, Longhorn, I crossed my eyes trying to see the 3D image you posted up, and I can't uncross my eyes. Thank you.
Yeah, dot your I's and cross your T's.
Wow, hear all them frogs out here.
It must not quite be late enough for me to hear them. I always get them in the evening, though.
All right, take care, guys. I gotta go. I'll see you later. I'll see what I can do to get this thing working.
All right, buddy. Good luck.
with it.
Take
Yeah.
care.
I wish there was more I could do to
Yeah.
help you. If there's anything I can actually help you with, let me know.
I will, but I'll tell you the truth. This is such a weird problem. I've run into all sorts of problems with updates and things. I've never run into anything like this.
I've seen
Anyway.
a lot of articles online and a lot of people having the same issues with that. What is it, 24H2 or something like that? I've
Yep.
seen a lot of people having issues with it. Not quite that issue, but it's clearly got problems. And a lot of people are having problems, but I don't see a lot of solutions out there. So, like I said, I wish I could help you, man. This is a really crappy problem to have.
Yeah, all the things I read from in those forums and things from a Microsoft guy is saying, yes, we have some problems and we're working on it. And I say, what?
Yeah. Well, they shouldn't have had that update available if it's that buggy.
Well, it's been
Uh,
out. It's been out for months, apparently.
Yeah, yeah. All the articles I'm reading are old too.
I think this is the alpha version of the update. Never mind. I'll see you later.
It might be. Anyway, like I said, Coast, please try to reinstall Windows on that, but use your thumb drive. Use it directly in your motherboard USB port. Don't use the front headers. Just plug it in your motherboard and try that. If there's a red USB plug, use that. That's
Got
all.
it.
That's all I can think of. That might help you just completely wipe your system clean and start fresh.
Anyway, I'll take care of it. They gave me a key I got with the system.
Right.
a
Yeah.
USB
After you
key.
use your thumb drive, it'll ask you for the key. But that thumb drive should install Windows 11 on there. Just make sure you install the whatever version you had. If it's premium or if it's home, just make sure you do the right one.
Take care.
Yep. Take care, buddy.
Night.
Good luck on that. We'll talk
Bye.
to you next week.
Bye.
I'm gonna bounce that too. Thanks again. You all have a good night, and yeah, Split Horse. If you want to try to do some troubleshooting on your printer, if you think it's worth it or you'd like to, just feel free to send me a message and reach out, and I'll be happy to help you if I have the time.
Yeah, that's all right. I mean, I'm not in any big hurry to print Pet G, so not a big deal.
Alrighty. Well, have a good night. See you
Yeah.
guys.
Take care, Travis.
Good night.
Always good flying with you, buddy.
See ya.
See you next time.
Take care.
Yep.
Yeah, I got my time set at 17:30, and I'm hearing frogs everywhere.
Well, all right, everybody watching the stream. Thanks for coming along. We had a good time tonight flying around Brazil. Next week, we're going to be back in North America. So we're going to be flying around the USA. Probably some big city kind of stuff we're doing. We'll figure it out before we get there. And hope you enjoyed the show. And if you'd like to join us, please check out the information in the Group Flight Info channel. We would love to have you. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Good night.